Hey gang, we're going to be doing a recipe video today, chicken korma in the Instapot. This is my first video in my new apartment. I've lived here a few months, but first video I'm shooting in it. And I have an Instapot that I make this in, not authentic at all because I'm not Indian and I'm using an Instapot. But I love korma sauce when I order Indian food, and I'm going to cook this recipe. I got the recipe online. I'm going to put a link in the box below so you guys can get it. And the few tweaks that I have are going to be explained. So for starters, here is everything you're going to need to make it. We're going to need onion and tomato, 75 grams of tomato. I like to use the same amount of onion. Use whatever onion tomatoes you got on hand. Chicken, I use skinless chicken thighs, also without the bone. You got some nuts. Cashews is what the recipe calls for. These were on special for me. You can use any nut you want. And then also coconut milk. And here's what makes it Indian. So you need 5 cloves of garlic. I use minced garlic. 1 teaspoon of ginger. 1 teaspoon of turmeric. 1 teaspoon of salt. 1 teaspoon of garam masala. Half a teaspoon of cumin. Half a teaspoon of coriander. I use a half teaspoon of chili flakes. And then 2 Thai chili peppers. Super spicy, super delicious. Here everything is inside, half of everything is inside my blender cup because I use a magic bullet. It's not big enough to do this entire batch. So I have to do 2 halves. Speed this up a little. You know, this is how blenders work. Depending on how powerful yours is, there's a lot of spices in here. So mine, I gotta work at it a little bit, shake it up a little bit. There you go. Look at that beautiful color. We got all the spices in there. It's mixing, it's mixing. And then at the very end, I think one more time, yeah, I shake it up. And then at the very end, I'm going to add some water. And this is a classic blender trick. Obviously, more liquid makes it easier to blend. And it also is good for the pressure cooking. And we got some baby food. I'm going to bring the light over. Delicious smelling baby food. Second batch is done, and I'm adding it to the pot. Here's a nice trick you got. Add some water. More water, always good. Slosh it around, get all that sauce out, add it to the pot. Give it a mix. Water is the key to the game, right? You need liquids to pressure cook. So take your chicken, add them in. Make sure they get covered by the sauce that is in the pot. All right, gang, now that you have the food in the pot, I've inserted it into the Instant Pot, and I'm going to put the lid on. My Instant Pot auto seals on the top. I don't have to set a knob any one direction, but maybe you do have to set it to sealing. So if you do that. If not, great, you're like me. We're going to want to set this to pressure cook for 10 minutes. High, so you're just going to let this do its thing. It's going to beep and start warming. All that extra water we put in is going to help with that. There you go. It's going to start cooking now, so when it gets up and it seals, the timer will count down. After it's done, just let the pressure release naturally. If you're in a hurry and you want to vent it and get the chicken out, it's up to you entirely. But I would say let it cook and, release the pressure naturally. Okay, so 22 minutes after it finished cooking, the steam released. It's been 2 minutes since then because I was setting up the camera. But we're good to go, so you can just do that. Depending on what kind of chicken you use, I'm going to put this in the sink. Depending on what kind of chicken you use, there might be some oil here. I use chicken thighs, so there's a little bit more fat. You can use chicken breasts if you want. I'm giving it a little bit of a stir, but basically what you want to do here is take your chicken out. This will shred pretty easy at this point. I mean, Like I'm just pinching it with the tongs and it's falling apart. So, you know, I guess if you use maybe like thicker cuts of breast or something, it might, you might have to cube it if you want to get like bite-sized pieces. This shred's really easy, so when I make it with rice, normally is what I serve with, so I'm gonna finish up here real quick. I think that's all the big pieces. Yes. Okay. So my chicken's in here. The last little thing you want to do. Where did I put it? There, in front of the camera. Coconut cream. You want to add your coconut cream to your sauce. You can cook it first. The recipe says, recommends you don't do it. Cook it with the coconut cream in there because they say it separates. Anyway, I'm just gonna, maybe I can do this. If I pick you up and you take a look in there, you can see the color, and as you mix in the coconut cream, it gets much lighter in color. Very soupy. This one, I had to add a little bit more water to the batch. I got a burn notice on the thing, which happens with Instapots sometimes, but you can see it gets very light there, and there was an extra piece of chicken. So basically now I'm just going to transfer the sauce to the chicken, cook up some rice, and serve it. And this was what, like 6 chicken thighs? About, I don't know, maybe 0.6 kilograms, which is like a pound and a bit. I'll get like 3 meals out of this with the rice, no problem. So, smells so good in the apartment right now. Super good, super tasty. Make it yourself, and I want to thank you for watching.